Hello everyone and welcome to the Neo Model Railway. In today's video I'm going to take you through the step-by-step process of creating a wonderful Metcalfe card construction kit, specifically the single track red brick engine shed number PO331. Let's take a quick look at the back of the box here. Feel free to pause it if you want to read in more detail. These construction kits are great fun to build, so if you've never experienced one before, stick around and I will take you through every single step of this particular model. I have built 5 or 6 of these models in the past, way back in 2018, and I had a thoroughly good time, and I've been waiting on one final piece to help finish off my shunting layout. With the engine shed the final piece in the puzzle, I will then return to give each of these models a little bit of weathering. So if you're interested in watching a complete novice giving weathering a go for the first time, hit that subscribe button and look out for that future video. For now, let's have a look at the equipment we're going to need for this project. The first thing you're going to need is a good adhesive, and I cannot recommend more the Rocket card glue from Deluxe Materials. The one on the left is one that I've had since 2018. It's still got a little bit of stick left, but if that quickly proves to be useless, I'm going to be using the new pot here on the right hand side. Whatever you choose to use, make sure you have a fine nib for exact application. Next, you're going to need a sharp pair of scissors and a craft or X-Acto knife with a new blade. Lastly, you're going to need some way of clamping and holding the card together while the glue sets, and I like to use wooden clothes pegs. These do a great job of holding everything together without damaging the card, and most of us have these kicking around at home and so therefore don't need to spend extra money. That covers the basics of everything you need, so let's have a look what's inside the box. Carefully running my finger down the inside of the box here. Inside each Metcalfe pack is a set of instruction sheets detailing each of the steps you need in order to build the model. Most of these steps come with an illustration or photograph of the piece that you're constructing so that you can follow along. Each Metcalfe model is made entirely of card, and these come on pre-printed sheets. Most of these are already scored and you simply just need to release them using your knife. The cut lines are always clearly marked. Glass panels come on clear plastic sheets, and sometimes you'll have elements which are on sticky back plastic. These will still need an extra dab of glue. Okay, you should now be ready to crack on with the project, so let's open the sheet and have a look at step number 1. I won't go into detail with every single step as that will be quite tedious. For step number 1, we're starting with the side walls. And here they are, ready to be extracted from the sheet. Grab your craft knife and score along the lines where it says cut. Pop out the walls and then pop out each of the inner windows. These can be discarded. Extract the inner card, which is used to give thickness and overall strength to the model. I always keep the card offcuts because they're useful for scratch building your own models. Time for gluing. We need to adhere the outer wall to the backing card, ensuring the groove is at the top. Offer up the 2 walls, ensuring that they're in line. Then clamp everything with your clips. Repeat this process for the second wall. Next, it's time to tackle the glass. Carefully extract these with your craft knife. You can use scissors here if you wish to, but I find sometimes the plastic buckles. The frames and glazing beads are printed on one side, so look out for the matte print. This needs to be facing outwards. When gluing glass, you need just the finest amount of glue. As you can see here, I've accidentally dropped 2 large blobs, but if you grab your glue, you can actually squeeze the bottle lightly and turn it into a pipette to suck up any excess. Check the correct side one more time, then very gently drop the glazing panel and apply the slightest amount of pressure. Rinse and repeat. Make sure you get the alignment right, otherwise the windows won't look quite central. Step 3. The front gable wall. As before, extract the components with your craft knife. You're getting used to this now, aren't you? Apply some adhesive, align the pieces together, and clamp to dry. Test fit the brick facade. More adhesive. And then carefully align the facade over the backing card. You may need to remove any excess glue with a small bit of tissue. Do that quickly before it dries. And then clamp. Ah, that's looking lovely. Step 4, rear gable wall. You know what you're doing by now. Always dry align the pieces to make sure everything's correct. Make sure when you fit these two together they're nice and square. Lastly, the door piece needs to sit on front, but make sure you've got it the right way round so the door pokes through the archway. Careful alignment again, and clamp. Wonderful. Step number 5, fixing the front gable to the outer walls. These corner pieces need slightly bending, and then the front gable adheres to this corner. Make sure you get glue on both sides, and then carefully align the front gable into the corner of the outer walls. I'm adding a little bit of extra glue just for strength, and repeat this for the other side. Nice. Next we need to drop the interior walls within the outer walls and make sure everything is closely aligned. Time for some reading. Books are great ways of weighting down the models when they're drying. This top one's too thin, but this second one might be just perfect. Let's add some adhesive to the front face and carefully slot that in behind. A few clamps, and I'm going to lay this on top of the old box to make sure it doesn't stick to my mat. I'm going to insert the instruction sheet to stop everything sticking together, and then a couple of books just to weigh things down. Ah, diesel and electric locomotives. Once that's dry, it's time to unclamp and repeat the process for the other side. It's time for you to give the video a thumbs up. Step number 7, fixing the rear gable wall. This slips into the rebate at the back where the two new interior walls have been fitted. I'm just going to run a bead of glue up the inside here very carefully. And then fit the wall in place, making sure it's flush with the bottom. A little bit of extra glue inside always helps. Time for number 8, the workshop door. Make sure everything's nicely aligned. We'll come back and attend to the glass pane later once everything's dried. Step number 9, workshop back wall. Dry fit things to make sure everything aligns properly. Perfect. And the same with the glass pane, making sure the matte side faces outwards. A touch of glue as ever. Carefully aligning the pieces. Using the table just to get everything nice and square. And clamp. Lastly, go and stick on the window. By now you should have stuck in the workshop door from the previous step. I haven't, and I'll come to that shortly. So don't be confused if you're wondering why that's not on yet. Like the front gable, carefully slide this piece down between the two rear flaps and clamp in place, removing any excess glue along the way. I'm just going to rest this on some pegs to keep it off the mat. Splendid. Now I'm going to return back to the glass from the side door, and this is the reason why I left this. If you want the door to open, you need to trim back the glass, so that's what I'm doing here. A touch of glue, some very careful alignment. And that's now ready to be stuck in place, sliding it down between the rear wall that you've just stuck. Fantastic. We're not done with step 9 yet. Next is to fit the roof. Pop out the hole for the chimney, dry fit into position, and add some glue around the tops. This is a little bit fiddly, so make sure you have a steady hand and some tissue paper to mop up the excess glue. Carefully offer up the roof, making sure it's central and aligned left and right, and then gently press down onto the glued walls. You're going to need another book just to make sure everything stays in place. And there's more. Next we're going to add the base walls and the two corner pieces as well. It does mention that you may want to paint the card to hide the raw edges, but because I intend to weather this, I'll be coming back to that in a future video. Carefully align the base piece between the two card returns. Fold the corners. Always give a dry fit. And the same for the other side. And glue these in place. Well, that was a big one. Where were we? Step number 10, roof trusses and smoke duct. These components come on sticky back card simply to keep them in place, but you will still need to add a little dab of glue to make sure they stay stuck. Pop the pieces out very carefully and then fold them over to create a solid structure. Repeat this 3 times and voila! Next, it's the smoke duct. Just simply pop this out and then fold this over using the score lines to create a kind of box shape. You'll see the grooves into which the trusses will fit. Simply slide the box through and then down onto the trusses. Follow this for all 3 pieces. And there we go, one completed truss unit. Now it's a case of fitting it into the roof, and these truss units will fit into the groove at the top of the inside walls. It was at this stage I realised I'd made a mistake and missed out a key component of step 1. Read those instructions thoroughly, people. A tiny dab of glue on each of these just to keep everything in place. It's an intricate job, but it's important to do. And there we go. Now for step 11. Upper front gable and bargeboard spacers. Don't forget to dry fit to make sure everything is snug before applying the glue. Next, the bargeboard spacers. Now note, I'm taking off 2 here, but these are actually the slightly wider outer 2 that you need later on in the build. So make sure you pick 2 from the 4 at the back of this particular sheet. Now for the concrete lintel. Carefully prise this off the sticky back plastic. The bargeboard spacers sit right in front of the upper front gable. And then the concrete lintel goes right up, touching underneath, making sure it's level. On the back, I'm now placing the 2 smaller and correct bargeboard spacers. And now it's time to go back and correct the mistake all the way from back in step 1. I had completely missed out adding the interior walls when putting the first walls up. And now as a result, I have to notch these slightly wider in order to get them under the trusses, which I have already fitted. So make sure you read the instructions fully at every step. A little bit of glue on the interior wall, which is now far more fiddly because of the rest of the construction, but luckily this just slides in place and actually it's not too bad at all. Right, back to step number 12. The engine shed roof. We're now over halfway, so I will speak less and speed things along. By now you should have a complete understanding of what it is you need to do. Here I'm folding the roof and dry fitting to make sure everything is good, and then carefully applying some glue along the tops of the trusses. It's a little bit runny, so just take your time and make sure things fit nicely. Here I'm just gluing one side first to make sure everything is okay, and then I'm going to repeat the process on the other side. I need something to weigh it down, so back to my trusty paper and diesel book, and that's the step complete. The shed chimneys on step number 13 require a little bit of forethought because you are required to paint the back of the card. This is basically to represent soot build-up on the inside of the chimneys. I've already done this here with a little bit of bleed through, but that should be fine. So it's just a case of extracting the components and then creating the chimneys. This standard card is all in strips which now need sandwiching together one by one, and these create little blocks onto which we can wrap around the chimney exterior. Simply rinse and repeat until you have 4. Folding the card over to make sure everything fits nicely, and you can see how everything's going to sandwich together. Right, let me rush through the remaining 3 and get these all ready to be fitted to the roof. So bringing the main model back in, we can see where we have the 4 slots along the roof here, and these just slide in nicely. They're a real nice snug fit, but a little touch of glue will help. And if you place some glue on the bottom, you'll find they will stick nicely to the smoke trough that sits along the trusses. Step number 14, the ridge tiles. These can be found on sheet C. They need carefully folding over, and then these sit right along the top of the roof line, perfectly between each of the chimneys. Simply glue them in place. Step number 16, the workshop chimney. No, we haven't missed a step. 15 was literally gluing the ridge tiles. We need more of these standard card packers. We're going to sandwich and laminate them together with glue to create the large long chimney which sits at the back of the workshop. And again, very similar to the 4 chimneys we created earlier, we're going to wrap around the exterior facade around the top of this block. Once we've extracted it, a dry fit is always useful to ensure no trimming is required, and we can see how that slots down into the hole. Right, time to glue. A little bit of glue along the very edge where the chimney meets the roof line should do the trick, but also glue right along the interior edge where the card hits the exterior wall. Step number 17, chimney pots. This is really quite fiddly, so if you do have a set of tweezers, this is the time to crack them out. First, you need to cut out the pre-printed paper and then create a cylinder for the chimney pot. Here I'm using the handle of a small paintbrush. Once you have that, it's a case of creating a pyramid with the 3 small square pieces and then gluing the chimney pot in place. Here I'm holding the tweezers just to make sure the glue sets. Lastly, a dab of glue on top of the chimney we've just fitted to the workshop. And with some careful positioning, the chimney pot is in place. We're on to the final stretch now. Step 18, workshop edging strips. These are essentially the various strips which run underneath the workshop roofline. Although these come on sticky back plastic, as mentioned before, you will need to add the slightest touch of glue just to make sure they stay stuck in place. The adhesive on the sticky back just isn't man enough for the job. I noticed this could be quite fiddly, so again, grab out your tweezers if you have them. The roofline may not be exactly straight, so I got a little bit of flexing on mine. You will just have to hold the pieces in place for a minute or so while the glue sets. Excellent. The penultimate step now, number 19, fitting the base walls. This is very similar to what we have done previously when we were working on the workshop. We just need to extract each of these small purple brick pieces and then adhere them to the bottom of the model. This just gives the model that little bit of depth and high fidelity, which really just adds to the detail. The penultimate step, number 20, sills and lintels. I'm not going to talk to you about gluing or cutting or positioning. You've got it nailed by now. Sit back and watch the final phase of adding fidelity to this fantastic little model. And we've made it. Step number 21. Adding the doors. Now I'm going to create the doors, but I'm not actually going to glue them to the model at this stage because I want to add some weathering later on, and I think the doors are just going to get in the way. The doors themselves are fairly simple to manage, but you just need to be a little bit careful when extracting the actual inside frames because they are quite fragile. A couple of tiny little dots of glue is all you need here, and make sure that you get everything nicely aligned. Ensuring everything is square and then everything is nicely clamped off. That's it. 21 steps, all completed. And here we go, the final completed model. I thoroughly enjoyed this project. It certainly isn't going to be as quick as watching a 25-minute video. Trust me, you have to let things dry between each stage. This took approximately 3 weeks, with me spending half an hour to an hour at every step, just making sure everything is perfect. Of course, getting this down to 25 minutes is a challenge, but I've enjoyed the editing process. I hope this video has been useful to you viewers as well. If you like the content, please give the video a thumbs up, it helps hugely. And if you want to see more, either tutorial videos or this actual shed in use on my new shunting layout, then hit subscribe and you'll get notified when those videos are available. Thanks for watching everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.